And now we gotta check in on the media because a woke journalist is spiraling out of control live on social media. As the New York Post reports, the former Washington Post journalist Taylor Lorenz has claimed that people who don't wear masks in public are, quote, raw dogging the air in an expletive-laden social media rant. What a wild way to describe breathing without a mask in 2024. Lorenz, the controversial columnist who grabbed headlines for branding President Biden a war criminal, unleashed the foul-mouthed tirade Monday as she ripped criticism of her continued mask wearing during the ongoing, in her quotes, COVID pandemic. Basically, Taylor is part of a tiny niche sub-community on the internet that's acting like we're still in peak COVID. I love when people find photos where my mask is off for 5 seconds outside for a photo at my book party where every single attendee had to PCR test as some kind of gotcha. She raged on ex-rival Blue Sky, apparently referring to the event she hosted last year for her book launch. Planning a COVID-safe book launch took months and thousands of my own dollars, ensuring testing, outdoor space, far UV lights, and a litany of other precautions. Kind of wild to be doing all that still in 2023, but Taylor does say she is immunocompromised, so I guess knock yourself out. But here's the part where things get insane. Meanwhile, you dumb Fs are out raw dogging the air and spewing your disease-laden breath all over your elderly neighbors. We are not the same. You're right about that one, babe. We are not the same, because some of us are still in touch with the reality. If she truly is as wildly immunocompromised as she says, then it might make sense for her to continue to take some precautions in 2024, and she's totally free to do so in a free country. But to attack the rest of us and accuse us of raw dogging the air for simply breathing without masks constantly on us, or accuse us of spreading our disease-laden breath on our elderly neighbors is absolutely unhinged. It is not controversial or some form of social transgression to breathe without a face diaper on your mouth. And most of us aren't just constantly sick and spreading diseases. This is an unhinged and paranoid way to view human existence. Plus, if our elderly neighbors are truly vulnerable, it's on them to stay up to date on their vaccinations, to make sure they're wearing a mask if they think that will protect them, or to isolate themselves if they are immunocompromised. You can't ask all of society to stop living or stop breathing unrestricted to accommodate your paranoia about a disease that for most people in 2024 is not a serious lethal threat whatsoever. Taylor has become a prominent example of this because she is a controversial journalist, but I actually know from TikTok and other places and profiles I've seen of them that a small slice of society has truly come unhinged over COVID and has not gone back to life as normal and probably never will. Some of them have had their brains broken and have become convinced they have long COVID, even though it may to some extent be in their heads. Others who are perfectly healthy just remain intensely paranoid or continue to live their lives in fear. And all of this, I fear, is a really toxic and tragic legacy of the way that we allowed during the pandemic at almost every level of government and society fear to override critical thinking, reason, and rationality. Every single thing we do in life comes with some degree of risk associated with it. Every time you get in the car and drive somewhere, you are risking your life in some small statistical way. Every time you go a walk around in a big city, you are risking the chance that you could get mugged. There is some small statistical probability. Anytime you play a physical contact sport, you're taking a risk that you could injure yourself seriously or even die. These are small risks, but they're ones we take every single day. It's just part of being human and being alive. But some people have had their brains broken and are so consumed by fear that they're living a shadow of life in order to try to stave off a minuscule statistical threat. And that's really sad. Ultimately, if they're adults, they can choose to live their lives that way. But I, for one, will not ever allow them to shame or insult us for refusing to do the same. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below and hit the like button while you're at it.